All right, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino now for the latest look at the temperatures expected tonight and the timing of the winter weather tomorrow. Matt?
Hey Blair, thanks so much. I'm going to start you up at Timberline Lodge because it's just so cold up there. 14 with a wind gusting of 21 miles an hour.
Wow.
That means, right? You know what that means for the wind chill?
What?
It's like 3 below.
Oh my God.
Brutally cold. Now, we're not that cold, but parts of East Portland are more stronger winds than that. So the wind chill is down between 0 and 10 for the east side of Portland out through Gresham and the west side of the gorge. We've got a weather impact alert for Thursday and Friday for good reason. Thursday morning into Friday, it's just going to be slick on the roads. The snow will begin in the Portland area in the morning hours and then build through the morning hours. And I think school closures are going to be likely, maybe not first thing tomorrow morning, but at some point tomorrow and definitely on Friday morning as we get frozen. So be prepared to stay home if you don't like driving in snow and ice, because it's going to get slick on the roads. In fact, the Willamette Valley, most of it, save for the Portland area, is under an ice storm warning. We don't get a whole lot of those here in Western Oregon, but we do now. We had one last January, of course, too. This won't be as bad as last January, if you're wondering about that. It's
okay,
not
good.
Right? I know. It's not as cold, won't last as long. We won't get as much precipitation. But I mentioned the gorge and how cold it is there. That's an extreme cold weather warning because of the combination of the cold temperatures and the strong winds there. So here's the timeline for us. About 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, snow will be moving into the Portland area from the south. I expect 1 to 3 inches by about midday, mid-afternoon. Thursday night, we start seeing it mix with or change to freezing rain and sleet. But on Friday morning, it should go back to all snow and then eventually end by mid to late Friday morning. So up to 3 inches of snow in the Portland area and maybe a crust of ice on top of that, which is the worst. That just makes it slick and really, really nasty out there. The Mid and South Valley, less on the snow, but heavier on the ice, unfortunately. Some of the Coast Range valleys may see approaching ½ an inch of ice. That'll be brutal.
Wow.
And power outages will be likely if we get that much. And then the snow and the ice will end Friday with some melting Friday afternoon. But we don't even make 40 degrees on Fridays. It's going to be tough to get rid of all of it until we warm up more substantially over the weekend. The storm itself still way out here, but it's developing and it is trucking its way into the central Oregon coast, which is kind of a prime position for Portland snowfall and ice. So here we go. This is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And this is a little bit different now. It shows it moving out by noon. That's similar to what we had been seeing in the model. A little bit of a breakup in the afternoon hours. And then tomorrow evening, more snow. And then that salmon color is mixed, either sleet, freezing rain, or all three. But look, back to snow early on Friday morning. One little blast, and then it finally moves out, and we should begin to see things clear up a bit as we go into late Friday, early Saturday. Snowfall accumulations, again, beginning 8 a.m., and then by midday, that's about 1.5 inches in Portland and in Salem, and then there's a break until we get into the overnight hours. Then it picks up again with that next band of snow. So we made up with 3, even 3.5 inches of snow, a foot up on Mount Hood there. As far as the ice goes, this has been updated too, and we're seeing less in the Portland area, but more in Salem. There's a forecast of 1/3 of an inch of ice in Salem. That'll be brutal. That'll create power outages and, of course, make the roads an absolute mess. So is this the classic Portland snow setup? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So here's the deal on this, Blair. What we have is Pacific moisture. So think you're looking north, coast, valleys, and the gorge, and then up into the Cascades, right? You got warmer air and Pacific moisture coming in from the west, but we've got this wedge of Arctic air over the valleys that came out of the gorge and over the Cascades. That's what makes it cold enough to snow. The precipitation starts as snowflakes, but if you get into this warm layer here, and that warm layer is thick enough, it melts into rain and then freezes on the way down. That's how we get sleet and freezing rain. You go farther back into the Arctic air and you don't have that warm layer, so it stays all snow for the metro area and certainly for the gorge. So there you go. There's the explainer on that. 41 our high today, still 10 degrees below average. We're only 36 right now, and our forecast continues with the weather impact alert, winter storm warning, up to 3 inches of snow. And see the high on Friday, Blair, it's only 37 on Valentine's Day.
Look at that.
Not exactly toasty, right?
Not toasty, not very cozy.
No, you have to find other ways to get cozy. But it's Valentine's Day, so that should be easy.
And it's cold, so we can get cozy inside.
There you go.
Okay. All right, Matt, thanks so much. Well, speaking of, the city of Salem is expected to get hit earlier than Portland, like Matt was saying. People there are in full prep mode right now. Our team was there today as crews put blades on the plows. They're also loading up sand and de-icer, and the de-icer is already hitting the pavement. They expect to put down several thousand gallons of it all the way through the storm. They say it was an advantage to have sunny, dry weather today because rain won't wash it away.
We have 4 tanker trucks that are out right now applying a liquid de-icer to our main streets. If we can get that chemical down ahead of time, it makes our life a little bit easier if freezing rain does accumulate.
Crews in Salem will be working major roads first before spreading out onto other streets. Now, the big question that comes around every time there's snow or ice in the Portland area: what will the roads be like? If you've lived here for a while, you know what it's like. But if you just moved here and you're saying to yourself, I've driven in snow before, I'll be fine, well, think again. Of course, maybe we'll get lucky and it will be fine. Or maybe it'll be like this storm last year, when freezing rain caused crashes that closed roads and lots of people were hurt slipping and falling on the ice. Or maybe it'll be like 2023, when hundreds of people abandoned their cars and others were stuck in traffic for hours trying to make their way through it. This has happened pretty much every snow or ice storm that's hit Portland in recent years. And trust us when we say no amount of experience driving in winter weather in other places can really prepare you for Portland storms. Believe me, I'm from Maine and I learned that the hard way. So it's best to stay off the roads as much as you can. If you do get into a situation where you need to leave your car, try to get out of the way of traffic so you don't get ticketed or towed. And you can try to take public transit, but historically, they haven't done much better than cars in this kind of weather either. PBOT is doing what they can to prepare the roads. Right now, they're treating them with magnesium chloride, which is a liquid de-icer. They also plan to use a traditional road salt in some areas, but PBOT does not treat low traffic residential streets. I asked them why at a news conference earlier this week.
Our equipment doesn't fit on a lot of narrow residential streets. We're not equipped to get the public to move their vehicles, for example, off of some of these narrow streets to make way. So our equipment and our budget are enough to treat the main arterial streets, the streets where TriMet buses serve the public and where first responders need routes to reach shelters such as this one or hospitals. We do not have, we have to focus on those routes in winter weather to help first responders, meaning police, fire, ambulance services, reach those critical destinations. So we're the first responders for the first responders.
Now, if you live in Portland, PBOT has a handy little map online that will show you in real time which streets are being plowed or salted and if roads are closed. You can even zoom in onto your own neighborhood. The best way to find it, go online, type in Portland winter weather map.